Now, from the Student Union on the campus of UW-La Crosse, it's the Mike Schmidt Football Show. The Mike Schmidt Football Show is brought to you by Honda Motor Works, your electric, natural gas, and hybrid vehicle headquarters at 4th and Cass, La Crosse. By Schilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. Schumacher Kish Funeral and Cremation Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. And Associated Bank. Experience the better side of banking at Associated Bank. Now, here's your host of today's program, Terry Erickson.
Welcome to UW-La Crosse. We're in the beautiful Entertainment Cafe here in the lower level of the Student Union for the weekly Mike Schmidt Football Show. The show is live on the internet and also played back every Tuesday at 6:30. Record turnout today for guests. We want to thank all of our guests, coaches, players, students for being with us here and supporting Eagle football. We got up Sunday morning. Mike Schmidt, the head coach, the star of the show, but
got it.
We get up on Sunday morning, Coach, read the paper, defense, Drew David, a stunning defeat of the Pioneers. You know what, though? Something makes me think that maybe the coaches and the players didn't think it was such a stunning upset.
Yeah, I don't think that we thought that. Going into the game, I thought we had a really good game plan. I thought I think we have a really good team. And so to go down to a place like that where, it's dang tough to win down there and pull off a win like that. I don't know that we were surprised at all by it. To us, it's not an upset. We think we got a pretty good team, and our guys went down there and played their guts out and just left it all out there and really came back with a great win for our program.
You continue to say on social media and all over that people don't really understand that UWL Eagle football is better than people think. And I think it's a couple different ways that you've attained that. Number one, I think it's because you have been able to coach players up. Mm-hmm. How do you do that?
Well, we've got great kids, number one. I mean, we got kids that just keep fighting. They just keep taking coaching. They just keep applying it. They're running our stuff. They play fast. They know what they're supposed to do, and they just go out and just go and play. And that's the first ingredient is just talking about kids that take coaching and that want to be good and have a desire to achieve something really great. And so they've just totally bought in. And then the other part of that, I always talk about the championship formula not being that difficult to figure out. You get really good players, you surround them with really good people, and you hold them to really high standards. And we've surrounded them with some really great assistant football coaches here. Those guys just do an unbelievable job, and you can just see it mainly with our depth. We got so many backups playing and multiple guys playing at different spots, and especially our two coordinators just do such a good job relating with them, having the right stuff up, and just coaching the details of playing football. And I think that really showed through the other day is that we could have made true big mistakes to lose us the game, and we didn't do that. We didn't make the mistakes to lose the game, and we were able to force Platteville into mistakes to lose the game on their part. So really thought our guys, I think our guys just do, the players take the coaching. We got some really good players. They take the coaching. We got some great assistant coaches that put them in the right spot.
Not unlike Division I, around the offices, which I am, and I know your coaching staff, their preparation, their scouting tendencies, you name it. It's just a phenomenal coaching staff, and that component, along with coaching players up, is the reason you're 6-2.
Yeah,
in my mind.
Yeah, nice to be 6-2, and I think we're not going to do this a real flashy way. We're just grinding this thing out, and I think you look at our spots and at our players, and you say, name all of our players that would be in the top 1, 2, or 3 in their position group in the league, even. And I don't know that you can come up with 2 or 3 in terms of just raw talent, but in terms of how they're playing and their production, I think we're just getting a ton out of those guys. And it just shows they buy in, they believe in what's going on here, and they're just maximizing every little sliver of talent that they all have.
Just like Tony Dungy would say, somewhat overachievers because of the coaching and the game plan and so on. Well, a quick injury update. Tarek Yagi and others.
Yeah, Tarek's going to be back practicing today, full go, and we'll see where he's at this week. The plan is for him to practice 100% full go all week, and we'll see where that lands. I don't know. We'll have to find out where it's going to be at there. But we did come out of it a little beat up, a little banged up, but nothing that's too bad. We got a couple guys that we'll have to see as the week goes along where they'll really be at. But overall, we really came out of it pretty good.
Break down the game. First quarter, defense was struggling in the first quarter, kind of what maybe people anticipated. No score at the end of one. What were your thoughts there?
Well, I really thought there's a couple thoughts there. Our defense played really well in the red zone to get a turnover, and some of those things that they just kept playing and kept not allowing the big play over the top that caused a huge score. We gave up a lot of big plays, but didn't give up, especially in that first quarter. We didn't give up a big play that led to a score, and we've been talking about that all year, that we can give up some big plays, but we can't let them turn directly into touchdowns. We did a great job of that. And then offensively, we just were a little slow getting going. Even though we had some good field position, but I thought we were on the verge to get it moving a little bit and get it going, and then obviously got on track a little bit in the second quarter. Speaking
of second quarter, Nick Holcomb, 5-yard pass from David, and then the reliable, and we haven't talked about him much real quickly, the reliable Bryce Wessling, another PAT. I think he's missed one or two all season. Yep. Phenomenal kicker.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and he came through huge on two of our field goals. You know, Nick just appeared to be uncoverable down at the goal line again. Geez, that play that he has to put us up early on and really gives us the lead for the rest of the game was incredible.
Everybody keys on Holcomb. I cannot believe that he continues to get open. It just talks about his ability to separate and so on.
I'm not sure that he is open all the time. He just makes plays, you know? I mean, he's got guys just draped all over him half the time.
Never seen anything like it.
He just finds ways to come up with the ball.
Never seen anything like it. Well, Trip Soma gets open for 13 yards, a TD, and 14-3 at half.
Yeah, and it's all set up really by Pete Kissling's interception at the end of the half. And thought they were going to take a shot there. Coach Janis had us in the right spot. Kissling comes up with a huge interception, and not only the interception, but the return all the way down inside the 10 for us there, or inside the 15 to set up Trip Soma's touchdown to put us up 14-3. And now you say, okay, now we feel pretty good. Let's get a stop coming out of halftime and see if we can stretch it out a little bit, which is what we did.
I'm sure you said to your players, among many things at halftime, like, complacency, don't relax.
Yeah, and I don't even know that we felt like that because we just had a couple big plays in there that helped, propel us into the lead there. But, I think the message kind of was, okay, here's what's going to happen in the second half. Now, here's our adjustments and here's what we're going to do. And I thought both coordinators did a great job. Both play callers did a fantastic job getting them set up and ready to go for the second half.
Third quarter, Bryce Wessling, you talked about his consistency, 29-yard field goal, and then a Holcomb pass from Drew David, 24-3. The place was stunned, at least the Pioneer fans, at the end of 3.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was, Pete has another huge interception in the end zone. We have 3 red zone turnovers that the defense forces. I think one's probably given to us, 2 are forced. Nick comes through again, and again, just same kind of thing. Like, how does he get that open on stuff? He's just incredible. But again, we were ready in that third quarter to put the pedal down, and I think the guys came out with that. The biggest part of it is we get the stop. Platteville gets the ball to start the second half. We get the stop right away and turn it right into 3 points on a long drive that puts us up there. We get the turnover. Huge play by Devontae Amos and sets up our go-ahead there. So really felt good about where we were at.
And they were obviously deflated, and they came back a little bit, scoring 2 touchdowns in the fourth, final 27-20. I'm sure there was a little anxiety in the fourth quarter.
Well, and that's part of what we have to address here this week is talking about how we got to finish the thing to win the game. I mean, we kind of had a plan on what we were going to do to not let big plays happen, but we let them score a little too quickly. And then we had 2 critical mistakes on our part on special teams, both on the kickoff return. We're going to get the ball at the plus 45-yard line. Instead, we have a holding call, and it goes back to the 30-yard line. We're going to get the ball on the 38-yard line. Instead, we get it on the 7-yard line. On just total mistakes on our part that really set up field position there really poorly, a major disadvantage for us in the fourth quarter. But guys battle all the way through. We get the onside kick. And then the biggest part is, and I've been saying this since we got here, eventually, to win one of those games, you have to stop the run and you have to run the football. And Jalen Clark converts the first down when we needed to convert the first down to not let him get the ball back and we can take knees on it. That's what it was all about there. Now, when I watch that, it's like, there's what we've been talking about for 2 years, and it finally comes through.
You're exactly right. And I noticed in the stats, Jalen Clark, a good job, and your running game's improving. A couple quick things as we end the first segment. Oshkosh 31, River Falls 28. Like, what?
Yeah, good game there. Really good game. It just shows, again, that our league's as balanced and as good as it's ever been right now.
That's stout 55 points against Eau Claire. Well, Eau Claire, but still 55 points.
Yeah.
And they come to town, Roger Herring Field, Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's a great matchup. Stout's a great team. They knocked off St. Thomas this year, played Whitewater tough at Whitewater. They've had a really nice year this year, and they're a really good team coming in on Saturday.
Well, Coach is going to help me a little bit as we sort of preview the coaches that are going to come on in segment number 2.
Yeah, we've got 3. I talked about our young coach. We talked about it last week on here with Nick Miller and Vinny Whipple, and we got 3 more that we got to get on here today with Brandon Gaston and Brett Gardner and Jimmy Penzel. They're awesome young coaches. 2 of them are student coaches for us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have, and that's including our social media with Brett, who runs all of our social media, works with our wide receivers, does an awesome job. Jimmy works with our tight ends and fullbacks, gives us that ability to coach all of our positions without having to kind of double up on one full-time coach. And then Brandon obviously comes with us from Platteville, where he was probably, him and Coach Janice were the 2 most popular people in that town the other day, and just has done an awesome job with our D-line after being a great player at Platteville.
All right, well, we're going to, as soon as we step away, we're going to meet those 3 quality young coaches right after this.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motorworks.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motorworks.
Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single-source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing, safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the web or call.
Stunning from any angle, the HR-V is a crossover of style and versatility.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motorworks.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Football Show. An exciting Monday here on campus. Exciting because we have 3 young coaches, too, with plenty of energy. Brandon Gaston, Jimmy Penzel, Brett Gardner. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Brandon, first season, defensive line.
Yep.
And talk about your responsibilities as a defensive line.
I mainly work with the 3 guys that put their hands on the ground. I have Coach King, who does an awesome job helping me out with the outside guys. I do a lot of work with the inside guys, and keeps us busy working with those 3.
High school. Talk about, I heard you were quite an athlete in high school.
Yeah, I played football and basketball in high school.
In Illinois, I hear.
Yes, Huntley, Illinois. It's about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. So played football and basketball. Yeah.
So if I went back to Huntley, Illinois, they would remember you.
Hopefully, something like that.
Would they remember you in the classroom too, or just on the court on the field?
Extracurriculars were a little better, but hopefully the teachers would too.
Okay, in a good way.
Yep.
But I know they'd remember Jimmy Penzel.
I'd hope so.
In a variety of ways, because certainly you come with a pedigree of being a good athlete too.
Well, that's a compliment. I don't know if you got that from Coach Landry, or I don't know. He likes to say that once in a while. But yeah, I played basketball, football, and baseball in high school. Classroom too. Had to keep the grades up.
But you transferred from Carthage.
Yep.
You came here and you were injured.
No, I wasn't injured yet. I played 1 season under Coach Detweiler and played O-line for Coach McGlenn, but following spring when Coach Schmidt transferred here, I was with the D-line and ruptured a couple discs in my back.
So that's when you were injured. So then
Yep.
you joined the coaching staff.
Yep, I actually I was doing film for him last year. Coach Schmidt let me stick around and catch film at the home games and away games. And during the off season, I stopped in and I asked him, what else could I help with? And he told me we can get you on staff. And eventually, Coach Landry and Coach Schmidt told me I was going to be working with the fullbacks and tight ends.
So it wasn't so much let you stick around. He wanted you to stick around
I guess
because
so.
he saw some things in you that you could benefit the coaching staff.
I guess he did. Before that, there wasn't too much interaction with me and Coach Schmidt besides just coming into film and talking on the side. But I'm thankful that I guess he had that idea in me that I could be a coach. So.
Well, I hear a lot of good things about you, and I hear the same thing about Brett Gardner. By the way, both from Burlington. There's a certain guy I see on TV a lot now from Burlington. Do you remember his name?
Yep, heard of him a couple times.
What would that be?
Tony Romo.
That's right. So, except for Tony Romo, you two guys are probably right a little bit below him in terms of
we're up
notoriety.
On the town sign, yeah, it's Tony Romo and Jimmy and Brett.
Okay. Well, the coaches, you coach the wideouts.
I work with Coach Frank and the wide receivers. Yeah.
And Coach Frank, I know him personally, and I know the gift he brings in terms of getting players open and so on. And talk about how you're able to do that with him.
I'm just there to help him. The guys we have are incredibly talented. Nick Holcomb is just having an outstanding year, and last year with Joel Oxton, these guys we have are great athletes, and so it's just maintaining them and make sure they're doing the right things, and they do the rest on Saturdays.
High school career.
Started out in Illinois, actually, at Lakes Community High School, played quarterback, but was behind the guy, TJ Edwards. You might know him as the middle linebacker for the Badgers now. And then my senior year, I moved up to Burlington to Catholic Central.
Okay, good.
Different high schools, but same town.
And I know social media is such a big part of the world we live in. Mm-hmm. And athletics, you have made incredible strides in terms of the notoriety of the program, reaching out to people. Talk about your responsibilities in social media.
I took over our Facebook and Twitter December-ish of last year. I started making graphics with Johnny Brenner. He was kind of the one that did all that stuff last year, and he showed me how to do that. And Coach Schmitz gave me the challenge last winter of, we want 2,500 followers by spring break and 5,000 by this season. Well, we were a little short of that. We just got to 2,000 a couple weeks ago, but we're trying to get our logo out there, get our brand of football out there, and let people see lacrosse.
So I'm assuming that most Division III universities do not have that kind of exposure.
That's true. We're very active compared to most schools in our conference, and I think that's what really sets us apart is that we're active every day. We're putting stuff on there. We're showcasing this show and everything about our school and what we have to offer.
Brandon, we'll talk about game planning in the first segment, and you're part of that, but talk about the skill set with the players you coach, the defensive linemen.
The guys that I get to work with this is my first year coaching at the college level, and they've made this transition so easy. It's a great group of guys. They're awesome to work with, and I haven't had any hiccups with anything just because of how coachable they all are.
And same thing with Jimmy. You're part of game planning. You're looking at films, scouting, and so on, working with fullbacks and so on. Is that talk about how you plan?
Well, Coach Landry is the brains behind the whole operation. So whatever he wants done, he kind of lets me know, and we work with the fullbacks and tight ends. And I have a great group of athletes. I got Cole, Trent Milliken, Zach Schradel, and then the fullbacks with Tyler Hyde, Jake Zabrowski. It's just a great group, and it helps that those guys are so athletic and can play different positions and stuff like that. That makes it a lot of fun.
Well, it's great to meet you, to showcase you as three young coaches with all kinds of energy. So we thank you for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us
here.
When we come back, two key players that led to a huge win in Platteville right after this.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motorworks.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motorworks.
Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single-source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing, safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the web or call.
Stunning from any angle, the HRV is a crossover of style and versatility.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Football Show here at UWL. Well, we're joined on the set with two key performers from Saturday's game, Steve Law, Peter Kissling. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for having us. Coach, in addition to many other players, these two were key players on Saturday.
Yeah, well, they sure were. And I feel like these two are key players every single week that we play. I mean, these two really make what we do defensively, make it go. If we don't have players like them, we can't really run what we run defensively. We need a great corner into the boundary. He's as good as there is out there. And we need two really good safeties, and obviously with Pete and with Ryan Weber and then with Luke Winnan, we feel like we've got three really good safeties out there, and Pete's just I can't really say enough about how good of players these guys are and really what they mean to how we run everything, because they do everything for us. So if we didn't have players like this, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And then obviously Steve has a great game like he always does, and Kiss has the two interceptions, unbelievable, that just changed the whole game. One in the end zone, and then one sets directly up the next play to be a touchdown for us. So just huge games, huge performances by these two.
Steve Law, defensive back. There was an emotional time that a lot of people caught after the game Saturday. An emotional time with you and Steve Law. Talk about that.
Yeah, after the game, kind of near the 50-yard line, I saw Coach Schmidt, just walked up to him. My chin was quivering. I gave him a big hug. We just talked for a few seconds, and we just kind of talked about how 2 years ago, walking off this field, how it was a completely different feeling. We lost, I think, 52-7 that game, and it was just kind of like an embarrassment feeling after the game. And then coming 2 years later to how I felt walking off that field, it's just an unbelievable feeling, and I'm glad I got to share that moment with Coach Schmidt.
We recognize that, and it'll be a defining moment perhaps the rest of your life.
Yeah, for
something
sure.
that's significant.
For sure.
For both of you. Well, Peter Kissling, you talked about him, Coach. You talked about him, but 13 tackles, 11 solo this season. But in this week, an incredible game. And you talked about it, how significant he was to the outcome, the whole defense, but particularly him.
Yeah, it was just a big game, and I give a lot of credit to all the other guys in the defense unit. The plays that I made wouldn't have even been happening if it weren't for everyone else doing their jobs out there. Our defensive line getting really good pressure on the quarterback. Our other defensive backs just covering guys on their side, making the quarterback throw it somewhere else where I could be at the right place at the right time, and just making sure I execute and capitalize on it.
Talk about particularly those two interceptions, the reads, and how jumping routes, reading the eyes of the quarterback, how did that occur?
Yeah, so the first one before half, that was really just right place at the right time. The quarterback kind of rolled out the other side, and our guys on the other side were doing just a really good job covering their guys. You look back and you kind of just threw up a prayer, and I just was right there. And the big part about that was the return after it, so I could set up an opportunity for our offense to score going into halftime. And the second one down the red zone, I thought was probably the bigger one of the two, because anytime you get a red zone stop like that, it's big. It's a big momentum changer. So that one again, quarterback was looking right at me, took me right to where he was going to throw it, and I was right there for it.
Steve Law, senior from Neenah. Before long, your career is over with.
Yep.
On to the next chapter of your life. Mm-hmm. Reflections on your 3.5 years.
First 2 years here, they were tough. I'm glad Coach Schmidt came in here. He's a guy that brought a ton of energy and kind of revitalized the program. He's got people to buy in and believe in what we can accomplish. And I think I mean, last year we started to show flashes and glimpses of what we can do under Coach Schmidt, and this year, you know, I think we win out for sure, and take to the playoffs, and you know, it's an unbelievable feeling going forward.
Sports is all full of life lessons if you seize the moment with those life lessons. What are some life lessons you have learned so far?
For sure, you know, just to bring energy in everything that you do, and that's what Coach Schmidt does best. I mean, when you have a lot of energy going into something, it makes the people around you have energy, and it just makes it a lot easier to accomplish your goals together.
Peter, some of the skill set of a defensive back? When I think of defensive backs, certainly one name that comes is Richard Sherman. I mean, because he can do all kinds of things. There's lots of tremendous defensive backs in the NFL. But what's your skill set?
Well, Coach Frank's not going to like this, but I'm going to go out there and say that the DBs are the most athletic guys in the field.
For sure.
There's fighting words right there. All right, fights at practice.
I'm going to say that
today.
right now. You know, as a DB, you got to be really disciplined. Not only like your physical ability, but making sure that you got your eyes at the right place. You can't be having your eyes in the backfield. You just got to be really disciplined with what you're doing and have faith in the process of what's going on and the techniques that you're being taught.
A junior, and so talk about your major, your career hopes, and so on.
Yep. So I'm a psychology major, junior, like you said. Hopefully go to grad school after I'm done with my 4 years here, and hopefully become a school counselor and hopefully get a coaching position at a high school or something. So,
Steve Law, senior, major, and career plans.
Yep, I'm a bio major, graduating in December here, and I'm going to apply for some lab tech jobs around the area.
Goals for the rest of the season, real quickly with you, Steve.
Pretty simple, win out, make the playoffs.
Peter?
Yeah. Same as Steve, I want to make the playoffs, win out. That win that we had on Saturday it shows a lot about where the program's going. So.
And stay healthy, by the way.
Stay healthy.
Will be
it's a big part
key.
of it.
Well, Coach, two significant players,
Yep.
and we're glad we had them on the show, so I appreciate you guys. But what else is going on the campus?
Well, what a weekend for UW Lacrosse athletics. Unbelievable. We win and secure an undefeated season in soccer and in volleyball in conference play, win conference championships in those two sports. Just an unbelievable finish of the year by those two teams. And now they go into conference tournament play this week. Cross country, men's and women's go 1 and 2 in the league. Winning another WIC Conference Championship. So 3 championships over the weekend. Really just a great weekend for UW Athletics in general. I mean, what a fantastic weekend to kick us off into championship week here now for the conference tournaments, and then obviously our march to see how we can do and finish it out here against Stoughton River Falls.
What a tremendous time to be at UWL. Quick question. We will beat Stout if?
We'll beat Stout if we can negate their wideouts from just running all over the place. These two guys here. They are tremendously talented on the perimeter, and they just take huge chunks by those guys. So if we can negate some of those guys just getting loose and running wild, we'll be in a position to win the football game.
And we'll be here, last home game of the season. It'll be awesome. We'll be around. Hope you enjoyed this week's Mike Schmidt Football Show on QEG. We want to recognize our sponsors: Quick Shilling Supply, Schumacher Kish Funeral Homes, Honda Motorworks, Associated Bank, as well as thanking all of our guests to be here, and our athletes and coach for doing such a great job each and every week. We'll be here next week as we look at the Stout game and preview UW River Falls. The show, again, is replayed every Tuesday at 6:30. So, until next week, I'm your host, Terry Erickson, thanking you for joining us here on the Mike Schmidt Football Show.
You've been watching the Mike Schmidt Football Show on KQEG TV. The Mike Schmidt Football Show is brought to you by Honda Motorworks, your electric, natural gas, and hybrid vehicle headquarters at 4th and Cass, La Crosse. By Shilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. Schumacher Kish Funeral and Cremation Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. And Associated Bank. Experience the better side of banking at Associated Bank. Join us next week at this same time for the Mike Schmidt Football Show.